Guitars come in all shapes and sizes, and more importantly, the cost can vary incredibly. Well, the guitars we'll be addressing today are not your average price guitars. We're also pretty certain you won't find these at your local music store or pawn shop. Oh, and by the way, if you were to find one in the latter, please do not under any circumstance leave there without it. The guitars we're looking at are some of the most expensive in the world and true pieces of musical history. Now, we know there are many, many expensive guitars out there, but we've chosen our favorites, the cream of the crop, if you will. So, that being said, here's our pick of 10 of the most expensive guitars of all time. Eric Clapton's Gibson 1964 ES-335. The guitarist primarily played this Gibson during his time with the Yardbirds back in 1964. That being said, he also used this very guitar during a couple of key moments whilst in the band Cream. He played it during the last Cream show in November of 1968 and used it to cut the guitar tracks on the song Badge, cut in December of the same year. Like Clapton's other guitar, Blackie, he generously auctioned it in 2004 to benefit his charity Crossroads, finally selling at the very nice price of $847,500. Jerry Garcia's Tiger. Jerry Garcia's jug-going custom guitar was his go-to guitar from 1979 to 1989. It was also the time when the Grateful Dead became a household name and gained some serious popularity. The guitar got its name from the artwork behind its concave bridge, and Tiger was the last guitar Jerry Garcia ever played in public, making it a serious collector's piece. So much so that when Tiger was auctioned in 2002, it sold for $957,500. Eric Clapton's Blackie. Clapton purchased 6 guitars and gave one to Pete Townsend of The Who, George Harrison of the Beatles, and singer-keyboard player Steve Winwood got one too. Clapton then decided to cobble together the best parts of the 3 remaining guitars and created Blackie, his famous black Fender Strat. The guitar was used and seen in countless live appearances and studio sessions until Clapton retired Blackie in 1985, and as with Clapton's other guitars we discussed earlier, he sold it at auction in 2004 to benefit Crossroads, the guitarist's recovery center, and he sold it for a whopping $959,000. Bob Dylan's 1964 Fender Stratocaster. This is the very Strat that Bob Dylan played at the Newport Folk Festival in 1965, marking his transition to electric instruments, and in doing so, incurred the wrath and disgust of folk purists throughout the world. Because it was Dylan's crossover guitar, from acoustic to electric, it earned its place as one of the most legendary guitars of all time. What makes this axe even more interesting is that the guitar was practically new. In fact, it was only a year or so old when it made its legendary debut. That being said, it still brought in a whopping $965,000. Keith Richards' 1959 Les Paul Standard. When it comes to guitars, the 1959 Les Paul Standard is pretty much the holy grail. When you factor in the fact that there's not many of them around, doubled with the knowledge that it was owned by someone like Keith Richards, you are for sure going to pay 6 figures for one of these beauties. Keith played this Les Paul during the groundbreaking Rolling Stones performance on The Ed Sullivan Show, and that performance was such a huge moment in rock and roll history that when it went up for auction in 2003, it sold for a very nice $1 million. Bob Marley's Washburn 22 Series Hawk. Unlike a lot of big-name guitarists, reggae legend Bob Marley's collection was small in comparison. In fact, he only owned 7. One of Marley's 7 was his 22-fret double cutaway Washburn. Here's where this gets interesting. Marley gave that very guitar as a gift to his guitar tech, Garry Clausen, and the guitar's whereabouts today are a secret. But the Jamaican government, which declared Marley's guitar a national treasure, is rumored to have purchased it and paid somewhere in the region of $1.2 million. Wow. Jerry Garcia's Wolf. This is Jerry Garcia's second guitar to make the most expensive guitar list. Again, built by Doug Irwin, Wolf was named for its distinctive artwork. First time at auction, it sold for the same amount as his other guitar, Tiger, selling for $789,500. But in 2017, Wolf came up again for auction. This time it was a different story. It brought in a whopping $1.9 million. The story doesn't end there, though. The money raised at auction went to fund the Southern Poverty Law Center, which monitors hate groups and other extremists throughout the U.S. Jimi Hendrix's 1968 Fender Stratocaster. Hendrix's 68 Strat is basically a stock right-handed Fender with an Olympic white finish. And when you look at it, it's nothing spectacular. However, even if you're not a guitar player, there is every chance you would know what it looks like due to its legendary appearance at the Woodstock Festival in 1969. With the guitar slung upside down and his now legendary early morning rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner, Hendrix turned this stock Fender Strat into a must-have for all guitar collectors. So, who had the money to buy such a huge piece of rock and roll history? Word has it that Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen purchased the guitar in 1998 for an estimated $2 million. Peter Green / Garry Moore's 1959 Les Paul. This 1959 Les Paul has some serious lineage. It was initially owned by Fleetwood Mac founder and guitar player Peter Green and ended up in the hands of one of the greatest rock guitarists ever, Garry Moore. So where is it now? Metallica guitarist Kirk Hammett purchased it in 2014 for a reported sum of $2 million. Expensive? Hell yeah. But let's face it, for a guitar with this kind of history, it's a darn good investment and will only increase in value over the years. The Fender Outreach to Asia Stratocaster. This is the most expensive guitar in the world. Rumor has it that it cost Fender between $15,000 to $25,000 to create and was the result of the Reach Out to Asia project conceived by Canadian rocker Bryan Adams. Adams created the organization to raise funds for victims of the 2004 tsunami in the Indian Ocean. And it raised a fortune. The guitar was signed by 19 artists, including some of the greatest guitar players of all time. Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, David Gilmour, and Tony Iommi all signed the guitar. And at auction, it sold for a staggering $2.7 million, making it the most expensive guitar ever been sold to date. So there you have it. Investments come in all shapes and sizes, and these beauties just happen to be in the shape of a guitar. Please like and subscribe and follow us at rockmyworld.com.